Hi friends, welcome to Active Cell Protection Extra. On today's Sunday gear review powered by Big Tech's Ordnance, I want to talk to you about the Unity Fast Mount. I just made this change on this rifle a couple hundred rounds ago. I really like it. Big Tech's Ordnance is my go-to source for accessories for all your defensive and competition firearms. They have great holsters with accessories for concealment and ship fast at great prices. I'm a proud customer and recommend them without hesitation. So listen, you've seen this rifle a whole bunch. Right now it's set up with my Blackbeard X. I use the targets back behind me to do practice and training all the time, okay? And I've been testing a little while. If you're a fan of the channel for a good long while, you know I do love a low power variable optic as kind of an everyday, like multi-mission capable rifle. But of course, a dot will do great on your rifle as well. I've never disparaged a dot. You can use a dot and do anything you want. However, I really do think that a heads up posture is a really good thing. So if you've seen us do defensive carbine stuff on the channel, you know that I tend to do heads up stuff like this, that I want to bring the gun up to me, and that I want to, I use a push pull on this as well instead of pull pull. However, having that heads up posture has some benefit even if you do the pull pull technique. And I think the Unity Fast Mount really helps with that. Couple of nice features. It fits the Aimpoint Micro, basically its footprint, right? So this is a Holosun 403 in green that I've been playing with for a while. I've got maybe 500 rounds through that. Put this on about 250 rounds ago. So I think I've got kind of enough beat on it that I go, okay, I've got a picture of this. It's built out of aluminum. It's great. Mounts super easy. It is a 2.26 height. Now, some people are going to say, John, that's a crazy height because what are your holdovers and those things? Well, you do have to adjust your holdovers a little bit. So instead of it being 1.5 from the top of the rail, it's 2.26 from the top of the rail, which is even higher than the 193 mounts that I've been using on my low power variable optics. But what that lets you do is over ear pro. So if you're using a good solid ear pro, it allows you to mount the gun a little lower on your shoulder. So it's not way up high here. It's down a little lower and you can still see through the optic, which is good for your ear pro. Also really designed for people who are using night vision and wearing helmets and stuff like that. And gas masks, okay? So, that's professional cop level stuff. I'm not doing any of that stuff, but if you are, having that higher head posture is good. Specifically, if you're wearing a heavy helmet with nods on top of it and those things, stuff is heavy, man. And so when you have to scunch your neck down in order to shoot, that gets very difficult. So having a more neutral head posture, very good for that. What we also found is that the smaller you are, the less strength you have to hold on to the rifle. Having a more neutral head up posture helps you do that better. And I can do that here and still see my dot. It's kind of in the top of the window here, unless I bring the gun up pretty high. But it lets me do that. Now, the other side of this, if you want to pull, or if you want to really get the heel of the stock into your shoulder pocket, if that's important to you. And for some people, that technique works best for them especially because all the force in the rifle is here in the buffer tube, right? So when the bolt starts moving, the bullet goes out the front end, the bolt starts moving and absorbs the recoil, that's all at this pattern. So if I'm trying to absorb recoil here at the foot, then that's going to create a moment which creates a movement upward. Whereas if I am able to support it at the butt of the heel of the buttstock, then it moves it straight back, and so you get less muzzle rise. I've honestly found that using the Mantis X, and in terms of muzzle rise between push-pull and pull-pull, no difference, quite frankly. So, okay, fine, do what you want. My point is that if you're into that, if that's your thing, then you can get behind the rifle here, and yes, you're gonna have to get down, but you're gonna have to get down less, and that less getting down with your neck over the rifle is going to give you more structural support. So if you're smaller, that's a very good thing. I also like, and you can see here underneath the optic, what you have here is you have backup irons integrated into the mount. So you have a standard height backup irons. Now, if you want to, you can remove that front sight post and put on a flip up irons or something out the front. But man, I just like this. It's a short, certainly a very short sight radius for that. But those backup irons, if your optic goes out or something, you're probably not going to be worrying about staying in the fight very long anyways. It would just be very much emergency. And I like that it's integrated into the actual mount itself. You know, that's a really nice feature, because one of the things that's a lot of people feel like running a optic, right, a red dot in particular, so low power variable optic, has etched glass, doesn't require batteries, so that's not as much an issue for that. But when you're running a battery powered optic, you always worry about the optic failing, and of course failing at the worst possible moment. Where here, because I've got the backup irons, if I come up here and oh no, I don't have a dot anymore, and oh geez, my dot is gone, I transition down to my backups and I do the work that I need to do. Is it ideal? No, but it is a system that then you can take off, you know, your backup irons or whatever, because you've already got a set on here for the worst case scenario, and that's really good. Now, the negative, of course, is you gotta get used to a 2.26 mount, so you gotta kind of maybe change your head position up a little bit here, and I've been doing a little bit of that on the range and kind of just getting used to, oh, okay, there's my mount position, there's where I wanna go, whatever. And also, it does make you change your holdovers a little bit, because you know at 2.26 inches above, you're 0.3 inches higher, which for really anything inside of probably 35 yards, I don't think you're going to notice a big difference. But it does change your ballistic trajectories just a little bit. So if you're going to run a 50-yard zero, you're going to run a 200-yard zero, 100-yard zero, it changes ever so slightly where your various kind of points are in your holdover. And that's something to get used to. And if you've got tens of thousands of rounds through whatever existing height you got, that'll take you a little bit of getting used to. In particular, if you're doing really short distance hostage shots, right? So if you really need to put a precise shot, say you need to put an ocular cavity shot, you know, you're talking 0.3 of an inch of difference, and that could be the difference between hitting him here and hitting him here between a fight stopping shot. But honestly, I don't know that I've ever seen somebody shot in the face with a 5.56 that 0.3 of an inch of difference made a huge difference in the outcomes, at least maybe to the ultimate lethality, but I'm not so sure that that is going to be a problem. So the different holdovers will maybe make a big difference if you have a precise shot at relatively close distance, right? So I don't know that you're going to take a precise shot with a dot at 50 yards, right? You're probably not going to try to put one in his eyeball at 50 yards with a non-magnified optic. At least maybe you can. I'm not really a good enough shooter to maybe hit that kind of accuracy with real precision. Certainly can hit inside of B8 all day. Yeah. We can talk about that another time. But let's talk about you know, those shorter shots and real precision. You need to hit an ocular cavity. Maybe not going to be able to do that very well, but that 0.3 of an inch of holdover difference, I don't know it's going to make a lot of difference when you shoot them in the face with a 5.56. You can pick one of these guys up at Big Tex Ordnance. They're about 180 bucks, okay? And you can get it in either black like it is here, or in flat dark earth. Now, I'd say this is, I mean, it's certainly not cheap for a mount. I mean, there's no question about that. But it comes with the integrated backup sights, which then saves you the cost of the backup sights. It's a very high quality. It serves a very good niche. I really think that heads up posture is not so important for big, strong men. Frankly, you know, if you're a big, strong man, you've got a lot of upper body strength, you could really kind of muscle around on this, then moving your neck forward on rifle work is probably not going to take up enough of your available strength. It certainly does make you weaker, but it probably won't take up enough that you're going to notice a big difference. But if you're a smaller human, if you are a woman, and an average sized woman especially, if you are older or you've got some arthritic problems, you got neck problems, any of those kinds of things, I really think this is something that you should consider. I think that it might be a valuable option. I also like, for those who are kind of trying to run lower weight, that it lets you take off any backup irons, so that reduces the weight. It itself is skeletonized, so that takes a backup weight. It also is super easy to mount, like just put a couple screws in it. It comes with a wrench that's long enough in order to do that. So this is staying on my rifle. It was a good purchase. Maybe it would be for you too.